Yo, what's up guys? This is Anthony with Above Average TV. TV stands for Tech Videos, and today I'm going to be doing a really basic comparison on two of the iPads currently being sold by Apple. On one hand, we have the iPad mini 4, introduced to the world in September 2015. It comes with what some could argue is a small display, measuring in at 7.9 inches. The mini boasts the A8 processor, which is quite old now but still very capable, and the price is the biggest downside since the model starts at $399. However, a huge trade-off of the price is the fact that it comes equipped with 128 gigs of storage. The iPad Pro is the newest generation of the Pro series that you can buy at the moment. Both Pro tablets announced last year have the A10 Fusion chip, which is the fastest processor right now on any iPad. At its base, it comes with 64 gigs of storage and a hefty price tag of $649. The iPad Pro is going to be the best iPad on paper in almost every single way compared to the Mini. The point is to compare actual usage and not just numbers. So let's break it down to see if the price is justified for the better model. First, looking at the camera, there's a clear winner. The Pro can handle 4K video recording, has 12 megapixels instead of the 8 found on the Mini, and other features that the Pro camera offers are a higher 1.8 aperture, True Tone flash, and OIS, or optical image stabilization. In comparison, the Mini has no flash and no OIS. So in theory, all these features make for a better, more detailed shot, and when comparing side-by-side images, you can definitely tell which one is which. The selfie cam is noticeably better as well on the Pro with 7 megapixels and only a measly 1.2 megapixels on the Mini. So yes, the Pro outperforms the iPad mini in this category, but the question you should be asking yourself is, do you plan to use the cameras on the iPads? Phone cameras are lots of people's main photography tools now, and there is a small demographic of people who will use the iPad Pro camera to its fullest potential. I can say I've only used the camera on my iPad about 3 times, so the camera on the Mini would be just fine with me, but of course this is subjective to everyone. Taking a closer look at the screen is interesting. They both look really good, they're bright but could be brighter, and they both use laminated displays. Apart from the resolution, there are 3 big differences in the display technologies used. The iPad Pro has ProMotion, a P3 wide color display, and True Tone. I'll admit that these 3 features are great and make the user experience on the iPad Pro better, but not by much. True Tone would be especially useful on the iPad mini since it can be used as an e-reader, and it would provide more comfort to the user's eyes if this was the case. The display on the iPad mini looks a little dull in comparison to the newer model, which is to be expected. However, if you weren't comparing these side by side, the display on the iPad mini still looks great for a tablet released well over 2 years ago, and I've had no complaints in the time that I've had it, which has been around 2 months. Media consumption is great on both screens, and I found both to be enjoyable when comparing them side by side. Both of them also take advantage of the screen size by supporting picture-in-picture. Other advantages that the iPad Pro has in its favor are the speakers, which are undeniably loud. On the iPad Pro, there are 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. These add up to be a nice immersive atmosphere when watching content on YouTube or Netflix. Both iPads have Touch ID, which is very convenient. The speed improvements on the second generation Touch ID are very noticeable on the iPad Pros. It's nice to have the more improved sensor, and when compared to the first gen Touch ID that's found on the Mini, the improvements shine through even more. I find myself using the passcode unlock more often than I'd like on the iPad Mini. Another feature available on the Pro models is the support for Apple Pencil, but again you have to take into account the extra $100 you have to give in order to use this feature. Once you do have it though, it is great. It's very precise and works very well with the iPad and iOS. Personally, I think the pencil should be included since it's one of the enticing features of the iPad Pro. But as a standalone product, I do not think it's worth the price. There are cheaper alternatives that work fine and are still very precise. For example, the disc pen that I bought for around $12 gets the job done. While there are some downsides to it and features missing, the upside is that it's cheaper, doesn't need to be charged, and it's very accurate for the price. It may not be packed with all the features the Apple Pencil has, but it works with the iPad Pro and it also works with the iPad Mini. I've even used the pen to take notes on my iPad Mini 4. The most important thing to consider when deciding what iPad to choose is the performance. The iPad Mini on iOS 12 does stutter from time to time, not enough to render the device unusable, but enough to get on your nerves. Of course, since the iPad Pro is the newer device from Apple, it will run smooth and likely stutter a lot less. Since both of them run iOS, the software experience is really close to identical on both. One of the things I noticed that runs differently on the iPads is the control center. On the iPad Mini 4, you can swipe up or double click on the home button to access it. And on the iPad Pro, the only way to access it is through the iPhone X style of doing it, which is to swipe down from the top right. It's a bit of an inconvenience since the Pro has the larger display. So to sum it all up, if you're looking to buy one of the current iPads, you have many options to choose from. This review is subjective to right now, and when the new iPads release later this month, the price drop from the current iPad Pro models will definitely be justifiable for what you are getting, especially if you buy used or refurbished. But since we're still a couple of weeks away from the new iPad releases, as of right now, I can say that out of these 2 models, the iPad mini is the device that will give you more value for your money. Yes, the iPad Pro has more features and upgrades, But when you have a smartphone that has all the same features and then some, there's really no need to spend $250 more to get top-of-the-line specs on your tablet. With the iPad mini, you still get a lot of features that you'll appreciate, a higher base storage, and a great overall user experience. So that's it for today's video. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed my content, and also be sure to check out my other videos if you're interested. Thanks for watching, guys.